taking it forward, you know, kind of executive producing. Is that where Fab's going?
Gotta grow. Gotta grow. Gotta allow yourself to continue to keep growing. You know, the beauty of being in the music game is it's a music business. The music business will always be around. Whatever genre of music that you want to attach yourself to, the business will always be around.
Yeah.
So if you're growing in the game and you're doing something that you love, you should want to excel in the hemisphere of what you love to be around.
Right.
And I love to be around music.
Yeah.
So as the front stage and on stage, you get older, you don't want to be the old guy on stage. You don't want to be the old head still just in the way, you know what I mean? You want to be able to say, I'll go from the front desk to behind the scenes to, you know what I mean?
Right.
I want to keep growing. So this is just a part of the climbing up the ladder from A&Ring projects to executive producing projects to putting my hands and my ears and my expertise a part of other creative geniuses like some of the guys that we have in the room today and other artists that I have a chance and I've had the chance and I haven't yet had the chance but have aspirations to work with.
Right.
So I want to continue to just make music. I have a keen ability to write records, to hear good records, to make good music, and I want to be able to continue to produce and make good music for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Have you studied the fucking dictionary, the way your vocabulary is like, and even going back to writing music, it's kind of like, it seems so like effortless for you, you know what I mean? I know you super freestyler, so it's like how does that combine all into one as far as even writing music and, you know what I mean, seeing, like you're saying, going into that level, like it's almost easy to you. I know, you know what I mean, just as a fan, you know what I mean?
The art form of it is, it was all about seeds that have been planted. I remember being 14 years old and I'd asked my mom for an Averix coat. I was like, Mom, I want an Averix coat for my birthday. And, at this time, these coats were like $600-$700. And it was insane, it was it was a stretch request. But I was watching all the videos and the music and all the rappers, this is what they had. And I was like, yo, I want to be able to, my fashion, man, you got to let me be at school. I'm a rapper. I'm this. This is something that I always wanted to do. And she was like, boy, I'm not finna buy you no goddamn $700, $800 coat. And when it came around, she bought me a dictionary. And I didn't understand it at that time. I'm like, man, what am I supposed to do with this dictionary? She's like, you want to buy you a coat, right? Learn all these damn words and use these words in your music and your rapping when you're writing. And you know what I'm saying? So I would actually literally just walk around studying this dictionary and this thesaurus. I would write and I would read it back and forth. I would always read because I felt like words create worlds, and more words, more of the world, and I never wanted to be left out of any conversation. I wanted to always be able to have some valuable input in whatever it was that we were talking about, which now today leads to my aspirations to want to learn a different language and different other languages, just to be able to communicate. Communication rules the nation. That ability to be able to talk can put you on any platform, and you have to be mindful of how powerful words are and where they travel. They can get you all around the world, man. So it's imperative that one utilizes an extensive vocabulary to kind of like not doing it to show off or not trying to use big words out of context and things like that, but that's just my natural conversation. And when one talks to me, they can see that I'm not, it's not an act. This is just like, I admire certain speakers. I admire Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a remarkable speaker. Like, even when you listen to him talk, he's excellent. Even more up to speed, Stephen A. Smith. Like, I sit up and watch First Take and I be writing certain words when I'm like, what the hell that mean? Like, it was hard for that. Like, what? So, how can I implement these words in my conversation? And so I've always been addicted to words. The actual word is called a logophile. And a logophile is one who has an obsession with words. So I've always been that.
Give me some do's and don'ts in the studio.
Do's and don'ts in the studio. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your engineer's time. Be productive. When you're in the studio, man, make it count. a lot of people come to the studio and they want to get high, they want to smoke, they want to drink, they want to do all of these things, and it's just like, come on, bro, you wasting time. You done smoked and drank all damn session and you made one song. Utilize your time, you know. Go in there, be efficient. If you have an ability to create on the spot, do it. If not, be prepared so when you go in there, you can just knock it out. You want to be able to utilize all your time. Whatever time frame that you have marked out in the studio, knock it out, man. Lock it in and be efficient. Don't waste no time. And when you're in the studio with your guys and with your people, take advantage of that. One thing that I regret being in the studio with Mac Dre so often, and we only did 2 songs together. And that's weird because we would always think that we would have tomorrow. And we would have, you know, the next day. So I would be in here and we only did 2 records together. We actually did 3. One was lost. And to be able to look back on that, like, damn, I spent a lot of time in the studio with this guy, and we never did. We spent time cracking jokes, getting high, and in the studio, and never took advantage of the fact that, as creators, us just going in there and knocking out stuff together, whether we kept it or not, just doing it. So if you got the time with your brothers in the studio, man, contribute as much as you possibly can to the collective of y'all creativity all together.
The Arsonal battle.
Had a great time.
Of course. I want to know, did you feel like you won or you took it?
Arsonal's a fierce competitor. It wasn't about a win or lose to me. It was just to show an ability that I didn't have any problems with going in the ring and going to go battle rap. If for me to go out and say, oh yeah, I killed you, I murdered you, it's not even my field of work. You know what I mean? It's just like, we look at what McGregor did with Mayweather. Now, if he would have won convincingly, it would have shocked the world. But for him to go from MMA and to go in the boxing ring and go 10 rounds with Mayweather, whether people say that Mayweather stretched it just to create the ambiance for an audience to watch the fight, regardless, he was able to go 10 rounds with arguably the greatest fighter of this generation. And that's an accomplishment in itself. For me to go out to be my competitive spirit, to get in there with one of the elite battle rappers in today's time and still make people say, oh, he won, or he did this, or it was close, it was that, to me, that's a victory to me. I wasn't worried about it. More so, not just necessarily a business move, but it was great for me to show that I can do different things, man. And the purse of the match was pretty good for somebody that hadn't been in that film, in that realm for so long. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, man, and I'm a big fan. Ars is my little bro. We talked about the battle prior to the battle. Like, I was in his hood, he was in my hood, and it was just like, Fab, man, how, I'm like, bro, do your thing, bro. Go, be the disrespectful artist. Put on the show. Be the person that the fans want to see. Go out and don't feel like, oh, I'm gonna be offended or I'm gonna let some bull stuff happen to you or something like that. It's nothing like that. Go be the Arsonal that you know how to be.
I felt like watching it, I was like, I know Fab probably feels like that. It's like artists have like a certain thing. Like, man, we're artists. Trust me, we can do business. But then I felt like the damn room was like crazy,
Yeah, you can cut the tension with a knife in there. It was sick because especially Oakland, the fans they don't understand. Like, they didn't watch Smack, they don't watch URL, they don't watch some of the other things to see how intense it is. And some of them have only heard of Arsonal, but they never really watched him in action to see this. So it was cats like, man, what the hell? Wait, what? And my cousin jumped on stage like, nigga, hold on. Like, yo, wait a minute, y'all tripping. Like, you know what I mean? So you could definitely feel the tension in the room, but I had vowed on my mother that I would never let anything happen to him or anybody else that we brought out here on my watch. You know what I mean? And that was our pact as brothers. And like I say, I would never sell out my word. You know what I mean? Like, for monetary compensation or for the humiliation of another individual. These are things that you learn as you get older. That are you humiliating someone worth more than the integrity and morality that you stand for? Does me highlighting you at your lowest moment make me feel better? And if it does, then I have some issues that I need to iron out. So I would never allow that to happen. So to fast forward the battle, I enjoyed it. It was a great time to go out there, have fun, laugh, and it was fun, man. It was good for the culture.
Yes, sir.